In the dead of night, Evelyn Blackwood stood before the gates of a cursed manor. She did not yet know that the lantern in her hand would decide whether she lived or became part of the darkness within. To her shoulders, and piercing gray eyes that seemed to search deeper than the surface of things. Wrapped in a long dark green trench coat and worn leather boots, she carried only one companion, a flickering lantern whose trembling light cut through the rain. The manor loomed before her like a sleeping beast, its cracked walls rising high into the darkness. The iron gates creaked open as if inviting her inside, though no hand had touched them. With steady steps, Evelyn crossed the threshold. The echo of her boots against the marble floor reverberated like a warning, yet she pressed on. Every corner of the hall whispered secrets. Every shadow moved as though alive. She was not welcome here, and still, she entered. The house began to reveal its hunger. Portraits that once displayed noble faces twisted into grotesque smiles, their painted eyes tracking Evelyn's every move. She tightened her grip on the lantern, but the trembling flame betrayed her unease. Beneath her, the wooden floors groaned, then split. Skeletal hands clawed upward from the rotted boards, reaching, scraping, desperate to pull her down. In the narrow hallways, shadows gathered like vultures, pressing in from both sides until the air itself seemed too thick to breathe. She stumbled into a nursery, where cracked dolls sat in rows, their hollow eyes glowing faintly in the lantern's light. One by one, their heads turned toward her. A ring of ghostly apparitions rose from the walls, their blurred forms circling her, whispering words in a tongue older than time. Fear gnawed at her, but Evelyn did not retreat. She walked deeper into the house, lantern held high, as though daring the dark to strike. Beneath the manor, the air grew colder. Evelyn waded into flooded basements, the water freezing against her skin, her lantern's glow reflecting in ripples. Faces, pale, lifeless, stared up from beneath the surface. When she crawled through tunnels infested with rats, they scattered in waves before her, as though fleeing some greater terror that followed close behind. At the end of her descent, she stood before a blood-red doorway that pulsed with its own glow. Her hand bled, dripping crimson onto the stone floor, yet she clutched the lantern tighter. Walls stretched, and eyeless specters clawed outward, surrounding her in silence. A chalk circle burned at her feet, its runes sparking with green fire. When she looked down, she saw her shadow pulling free from her body, stretching, rising, and twisting into something monstrous. Evelyn's heart pounded, but she stepped forward still. To turn back now was to surrender. The grand hall shuddered as Evelyn faced the beast of shadows. Towering, shapeless, and alive with endless hunger, it loomed over her. The spectral wind tore at her trench coat, the lantern's glow flickering wildly. Yet she raised it high, and from its glass burst a searing green light, striking the creature and tearing holes through the dark. But every victory was fleeting. A child's ghost clutched her coat with hollow black eyes, whispering her name. The lantern cracked in her hands, veins of light running across the glass. Its glow shifted, its fire reshaped, until it became an eye, a living eye, blinking, writhing, watching her. Evelyn screamed as the walls collapsed, stone and dust raining down, and the lantern's storm of light swallowed her whole. When the world returned, Evelyn floated in a void of mist. Her coat drifted weightlessly around her body. Ahead stretched a hallway of mirrors, each one reflecting not herself, but twisted, monstrous versions of her face. Some smiled with jagged teeth. Others wept black tears. She raised the lantern, but its light no longer guided. It was betrayed. The lantern hung in the air, splitting apart, reshaping itself into a relic shaped like a vast, glowing eye. Her hand trembled as she reached for it, her skin burning as green fire coursed through her veins. Shadows crept beneath her flesh. Her scream shattered the silence, echoing across the void, as her body twisted and transformed. And then, it was over. Evelyn Blackwood stood reborn. Her gray eyes burned with an unnatural green fire. The spectral wind coiled around her, her trench coat whipping as though caught in a storm no one else could feel. She had become the lantern's guardian. Not savior, not victim, something in between. The manor was silent once more. Yet in that silence, one truth remained. Evelyn Blackwood was no longer the same. And her story had only just begun.